Wendy Morton.
Number 8, please.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, indeed, promoting you to the executive. Not a wanted promotion, I'm sure. This government has ensured that all those infected and bereaved partners who are registered on the UK support schemes received an interim payment of £100,000 in October, meeting Sir Brian Langstaff's interim recommendation in full. This builds on support already provided, but I want to make absolutely clear that those interim payments are the start and not the end of this process. Work continues.
Dame Diana John. Dame Diana. Sorry, Wendy Morton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As my honourable friend knows, there are literally thousands of victims of this historic blood scandal up and down the country, and I know from some of my own constituents just how traumatic this is and how hard they have been campaigning for a long time to right what we see and recognise as an historic wrong. So I just want to ask my honourable friend, does he agree with me that it's absolutely critical that the government is ready to respond to the Langstaff report as soon as possible?
I thank my honourable friend. It is absolutely critical that we are indeed ready. That's why the government commissioned the compensation framework study to ensure that we could be ready to respond quickly to the inquiry's recommendation. Work is ongoing. It was a pleasure to meet the co-chairs of the APPG, from whom we may hear shortly. Work is ongoing, and I hope to provide a further update to the House on how we're progressing that work and how we will continue to take it forward as soon as possible.
Dame Diana Johnson.
Can I thank the Paymaster General for meeting with me and the Father of the House last week? Can I also just remind him how difficult it has been to build trust with this group of people who've been infected and affected and been treated so badly over so many decades? And a promise was made by the government to have a statement and a response to Sir Robert Francis Casey's review of the framework for compensation. So I would ask the Paymaster General, can he give a date when we will have that statement to this House?
First of all, can I acknowledge all the tireless work that has been done by campaigners, those infected and those affected, and those who supported them in this House and outside, including the Honourable Lady and the Father of the House. It's a dreadful circumstances. We are determined to be ready for when Langstaff reports, presumably midway through next year, that is his report. We're absolutely determined to be ready. That was why Sir Francis was commissioned to undertake his study. I think our actions in the payment of the interim report, meeting in full the interim recommendations, speak in part for themselves. But I do acknowledge the Honourable Lady's point, and I look forward to updating the House as soon as possible about the work that we've done and the work that we will continue to do, and continue to update the House as that progresses towards Langstaff completing his work.
Dame Diana Johnson.
Deputy Speaker, the Right Honourable Lady will know I have a great deal of respect for her when she held the post of Paymaster General, and she commissioned the report by Sir Robert Francis Casey into a compensation framework for those infected and affected by the contaminated blood scandal. That was produced, that review, in March to the government. This House was told repeatedly that we would see a government response and we would have an oral statement to this House. None has been forthcoming, despite months and months of waiting. I wonder whether the leader may use her good offices to ensure that we do have that statement next week before we end for Christmas.
I thank the Honourable Lady. The feeling is entirely mutual, and I thank her for the tremendous work that she has done with the APPG to ensure that justice is done with regard to those infected and those affected by this terrible, terrible situation. The compensation study was, as she knows, designed to make sure that government was on the front foot when the wider inquiry was concluded, and also, as has been suggested, that interim payments could also be made for those in particular hardship. I will certainly today write to the Cabinet Office and make sure they have heard the Honourable Lady's request, and I will keep her up to date with what is happening.